Hello, so today I'm going to do a new YouTube video which is brought to you through the spirit of aggressively being bored or being aggressively bored. I hate Sundays and I don't really want to do anything, and then everything that I do is boring. So boring that I stop doing it and then I can't find anything else to do. So yeah, I'm going to try and force my way through that by doing this video. Haven't got any ideas for what I want to draw or what I want to do. Last night I'd had a few beers and so couldn't draw because I couldn't be bothered. And just sort of painting in my sketchbook, just seeing what would happen if I put some red stuff down with a bit of yellow. It looked better when it was wet than it's dry. And so I want to do something with that. And yeah, happy time. Right, so I'm looking at this now, and although it's underdeveloped and there's probably other ideas in it, I don't hate it. It's just there, and so I'm actually going to leave it there and not do anything to this particular spread yet. And I'm going to do something different. I don't know. I've had this idea to draw sharks recently. I don't know why, so we'll see how that goes. Right, so I've jumped to a different point in the sketchbook. On the back of this is this weird two-face person thing that happened. So I'm going to do a drawing on either one of these. I've not found any reference I can be bothered to use yet. Thought I had an idea for a second there, but no, it's gone again. No, I've still got nothing. There's nothing I want to do. I just want to stop, but I'm committed now. Let's just take a brush for it. Let's just muck about and see what happens. Right, so as I'm doing this, I'm just chucking a highlighter pen at this page. I'm not thinking it through very much. What I am thinking about while I do this is the idea that art is good when it has intention and when the person who's creating the art has an intention behind what they're doing, whether that's playing an instrument or doing a drawing, and whether their ability matches up to their intention. So that's just what I'm thinking about now. So if this looks good, is it because I've intended it to look good, or is it just by accident? Also, so far this reminds me of a pair of Bermuda shorts I had in the 1980s, and that's got nothing at all to do with anything. Right, so if we compare this to what I did last night, so last night being this, when I did this, although it was very loose and it was just an experiment, there was intention behind it. So there's multiple layers of paint here. It started off with a red layer and then I just stuck some more red on and then tried to build this into some sort of shape. So this is an arm and this is a face and this is some hair. And this is, I don't know, some foreground, and then the background is supposed to be, I thought there was something in there. Whereas this, I just anything. So if this looks good, or this looks good, and it looks all right for what it is, what was the intention? Right, so this is, I've just been yesterday I sat down and tried to scan some of my previous work in the sketchbook. It was the picture of a rat I did a little while ago, that one. I tried to scan it and then stitch it together just to see if it was possible. And although it did stitch together a little bit, it still looked a bit wonky and a bit rough, and the fluorescent colours I'd used hadn't come out properly. And so if I liked myself a lot, or if I'd been thinking differently, then I would have said, right, from now on I'm not going to do double page spreads which cross over, and I won't use fluorescent colours because they don't scan the way they looked in the book. But instead I'm going to lean into it and thought, in the past I've drawn hares, I've enjoyed drawing hares. Let's draw a hare. You can't actually see the outline I've put in. I can't see the outline I've put in, but I'm going to give it a go. So I've put the eye in the middle here, intentionally just to make my life difficult when I come to work on this digitally. And also, because I've got the camera in my face, I can't really see what I'm doing. This is going to be a really bad drawing of a hare, or hopefully not a bad drawing, but it's not going to look like the hare is supposed to. The stuff's going to be all out of proportion. So I've also got a theory that the more drawing you do, as long as you don't overdraw, the less important it is that the composition works. That's a really mean-spirited thing to say, but here we are, Sunday. Right, so there's that. Now I'm just going to start filling in areas with pen. This used to be a white Posca marker until I used it for, I don't know, I'd sort of mixed it with paint on the page as I went, and now it's a sort of dark grey Posca marker, which is very much towards the end of its life. But I'm using it here just to see what will happen. Yeah. For what it's worth, I think in the reference I'm using, the hare's eye is much bigger than the eye that I've got going on here. And this space is smaller. So I'm just having to make it up now. I've also screwed up the ear or ears on this hare. They're surprisingly difficult to understand unless you've spent some time actually drawing them properly and sketching them, which I haven't done. I've just leapt straight in, which reinforces the idea that drawing is for understanding. Getting a really close drawing on something is a way of understanding it, and I didn't do that here. On the photo reference I'm using, this sort of softer, furrier area on the hair is actually sort of out of focus. So it's either out of focus, or the fur is so fine that it's difficult to make out. So I've just had to make it up now. I've done this particular hair a disservice because it's not as chubby as I've made it look. So but it's got more back fur. Does it? Or is it just? Oh, I don't know. So coming back to intention, and I'm wondering. So thinking about if a piece of art is good, what was the intention behind it, and does the artist's skill match it? I'm trying to work out what the intention for this particular drawing is. Part of it is just to do content for YouTube. I'd like to do more with YouTube. I watch a lot of it. Same way I started a podcast after I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and I've stopped since it became expensive to run. But YouTube's free to produce content for, so I'd like to do that. It's a little platform for me. So partly I'm just drawing this hair so that I can put something on YouTube to keep the momentum up on that. The other reason is to see what happens when I scan and stitch this, whether this is going to cause me a problem or whether it's accidentally going to look really cool. I don't know yet, so that's another reason why I'm doing it. So out of experimentation. Another reason is that as I look at this sketchbook as a document which I can do something with, like create a narrative out of in the end, it needs to have a balance of stuff. So there's a lot of like animal stuff at the start now. Look, so there's a rat, a bear, and a bird, but there's no more figurative stuff in the rest of this. So that's another reason to put this in. As I was trying to read my sketchbook the other day as if it was a narrative, and because of the way that I've flipped back and forward as I've been making it, I'm not even paying attention to this bloody hair now where I'm just drawing. Christ. It created a nice little puzzle, like as styles came and went with the dates in the corners, it sort of started to trigger that part of the brain I like to try and play with, which is like the mystery part where your brain starts trying to figure stuff out as it reads. So I used that a lot in Found Forest Floor and Nothing, two different comics, but they both sort of try and trigger that mystery solving part of the brain, even though there's no mystery there to solve. The little switch that wants to figure out mysteries starts going, and it's a feeling that I like to have, and I like to try and elicit in readers. The fur over here is much thicker, so I'm doing these arrow shapes instead of just lines, just to sort of make it feel thicker down here. Again, if I was doing a really close drawing, like some people are really good at doing like really close pencil studies, and I'm not, because I'm always in too much of a hurry. So I YouTube gold, right? What was I saying? Pencil studies. Yeah, if I was doing a really close pencil study, I'd like look at my reference, which I'm pointing at over there. You can't see it, and I go, right, there's a little bit of shade there. And then sort of the brain of the viewer would look around the rest of it and go, oh yeah, that's where that is. But I'm not doing that today, and I probably won't do that ever. My art teachers at school used to despair that they told me to do a really careful study drawings, and I did a slightly softer one. I still moved at the exact same speed. The one time I did like slow right down to do a decent study, it looked really good. I was really proud of it, but I suppose I haven't got the patience to do that, which may or may not be a weakness. I'm just going to go and do some lines in this white posket. It's tired, so it's not putting thick amounts of ink down, but it's just interesting as to whether or not it will do the job. I've gone too far over here, but yeah, whether I can just like fake highlights in the fur without having to draw around them. See, the pen's so dead, and now it's mixing with that. Brilliant, superb. Right, I'm just going to put this there because I think this drawing is almost done. I could keep working it, but I don't want to. I want to just leave it as it is. Yeah, there we go, done. That was a weird angle. So there you are. Cool. And that's that. It wasn't terrible in the end. I'm slightly less bored than I was. I've got a picture out of it, which I quite like, actually. I'll continue thinking about intention, and just thinking about that. Thank you for watching. YouTube things to say, like and subscribe. So if you're not subscribed already, then feel free to. And slap that like button. Thank you. No cats.